Hey, this is Kutski coming at you live and direct from Miami, and you are watching Hardstyle Report with Corillo magazine. Keep it locked. Basically, I'm a DJ of the Hardstyles from the UK. I've been playing on the club circuit for about 10 years now. I started when I was really young, and basically I play all of the Hardstyles. It's like, you know, we say for 360 degrees of rave music, covering the full spectrum really, right through to, you know, the hard end of house, right through to, you know, kind of like hardcore, hardstyle, you know, a bit of everything thrown in there. So that's pretty much what I'm about.
Okay, good. How and when did you start DJing?
I must have been probably about 13 when I decided I was going to be a DJ. And it was one of them things that, you know, if people are into guitar music and into bands, they might get a set drums or, you know, kind of a guitar or something. But it's like, you know, I was really into dance music and the whole rave scene. I didn't know anything about, you know, music or production because that was, you know, beyond me at a young age. But, you know, the whole idea of, you know, I knew the records that I liked. So the idea of getting a set of turntables, you know, playing them records myself and mixing my own style of records together kind of, you know, appealed to me. So I started off with just kind of like one record player, not even a proper DJ turntable, just a record player and a CD player and a 2-channel mixer, and just used to take between 2 different tracks, and then, you know, slowly bit by bit, you know, I learned as I went along. Yeah, it's kind of, yeah, to the point where I was about 17, 18, I was playing in clubs.
Perfect. Album release?
Yeah, the new album came about. It's basically off the success of the Keeping the Rave Alive albums, because it's like people were like, we launched that with up to the kind of the 2nd edition of that this year, and people really kind of like demanded more, but we didn't want to kind of rinse it and be doing, you know, 3 or 4 albums a year. It'd be too many, so we thought we'd kind of look at some of the features that were on the show. One of the most popular ones is a feature called The Hardest Record in the World, where it's literally just going for like, you know, crazy hardcore every week, you know, kind of like insane BPMs. And, you know, and that's a really popular feature, you know, that everybody always talks about, everyone gets suggestions. So we thought, you know, as a spin-off of the album, maybe it'd be good to focus on some of the really underground hardest stuff. So we're putting out the first Hardest Records in the World album, which is out next Monday. And yeah, as far as surprises on that one goes, this way we start at about 155 BPM, which to most people in dance music is fast, but for those with the harder styles, it's a modest tempo, but it finishes at 275. So that's kind of like playing Martin Garrix 3 times faster than it should be. You know, it's like really crazy stuff by the end. So yeah.
And what do you think about hardstyle in the US, and where do you see it going?
I think it's blowing up at the moment. It's only going to get bigger and bigger, really, because it's a new, exciting thing out here, and it's, you know, it's obviously in Europe, you know, is a lot where the music was born. But when music's been around for 20 years, kind of people can get a little bit, you know, long in the tooth of it, and, you know, people start, you know, complaining about things, and everyone gets quite snobby about it. So it's really refreshing to come out to America, where, you know, the scene's only been around. Obviously, you know, it's been around for many years on the underground, but it's really starting to explode at the moment. And it's the excitement of it, where there's no complaining about the lineups. There's no moaning about hearing the same tracks, there's no moaning about it. It's just all love for the music, like a real open-minded approach to it. And I think that's what we could really take back from the kind of the US scene back to Europe, is kind of the open-minded approach to it. There's, you know, a lot of mixed genre raves, which make the nights really interesting, and it'll bring in more people from more different styles, which means you can have bigger raves. And, you know, sometimes pigeonholing and segregating stuff off into subgenres can be quite a negative thing, you know, to the scene by dividing it up. Whereas here it just seems to be like an open, embraced attitude, which I think why the Keeping the Rave Alive thing seems to have gone down so well in the States, is just because, you know, kind of I was trying to, you know, encompass and bring everything back together, and you guys are already doing it here, you know, with hardstyle, electro, drum and bass, hardcore, all at the same raves. And, you know, the numbers are positive every time I come out here. You know, it's kind of, the events are getting bigger and bigger, so I just think it's on to numbers. Let's fucking go! That's a tough one, Max. I've played some crazy parties over the years. Like, I mean, last year I played the End of the World party in Hawaii, which, you know, for a hardstyle DJ is quite a crazy, you know, thing to be. But yeah, I think out of everything, it would have had to be playing the main stage on DEFCON 1 in Holland, because for like the harder styles, DEFCON is kind of like the pinnacle. Since we playing on the red stage, the main arena there, you know, that's kind of like something really special for me, and like a big achievement. It doesn't really get much bigger for a harder styles DJ.
Cool, excellent. What's behind Keitra, Keeping the Rave Alive? What's the the inspiration behind that?
Yeah, I mean, the idea of that, it was just kind of spawned just like as a bit of a hobby, really. I just thought, you know, there was a lot of podcasts that were around at the time, but they, you know, they were kind of monthly. There wasn't anything that people felt like they could, you know, really get involved in and be there regularly. And then everything else was very niche as well. It was like, you know, kind of a raw style podcast or a house podcast or a happy hardcore podcast. And I was like, well, a lot of people that like this style of music, they like all these different styles of music. And the reason why monthly podcasts are monthly is because there isn't enough new music to fill an hour every week within one particular style. So I was like, well, it just makes sense to just roll all the different styles of music together, call it Rave, and then just like kind of, you know, make a bit of a community with it. And it's like, so I just did it as a bit of a, you know, I had a spare couple of days one week and thought, you know, I'll just put together a couple of shows, put them out there and see what the response is. And it's probably the biggest thing I've got going for me to date. So yeah, it's really kind of gone quite crazy. Yeah, free time is something that I don't really have a lot of these days, but I tend to find most of my free time is kind of, you know, spent on planes while travelling. So it's like whenever I'm going through TSA, like I get some funny looks because I've just got like a laptop bag full of gadgets and electronics just to keep me occupied on flights, really. So like, you know, a lot of people that follow me on any social media, like, you know, Facebook and Twitter and stuff, know that I'm really into my computer games. So I like spend a lot of time kind of playing Nintendo on flights and making mixtapes, which is, you know, how I got into this industry in the first place, just as a hobby, just making mixtapes at home. And you know, now with technology, you know, you can quite happily sit there with, you know, your iTunes library of abundant music that you love, and you know, sit there with, you know, various applications on your laptop, and you know, over this course of like, you know, a 7-hour flight, I can put together a new mixtape that I can just bang up on the internet and let people download for free. So yeah, basically free time is how I used to spend my life, you know, kind of like maybe 10, 15 years ago, playing computers and making music. It's an absolutely beautiful place, and it's just like I was just saying, it's like one of those first world DJ problems where it's, you know, you get to go to these amazing places, you never get to spend any time. You know, I got in last night, I leave first thing in the morning to go to another show in Seattle tomorrow night. So it's, you know, kind of, it is a curse, but it's one of them things that it's, next time I'm out here, I should definitely want to come back. It's like, you know, make sure it's at the end of the visit so I can stay and chill for a few days and, you know, really soak in the atmosphere, because, you know, as much as it does seem to be the central hub at the moment for music, everyone from music all around the world to come here, I just think it's just like, you know, it's an amazing city to be, you know, just flying over, looking down on it, going down to the beach today and seeing all the sexy ladies and stuff, man. It's like, yeah, beautiful place.
Okay, stop.